My loving audience, take my love and subscribes my channel. Is a perfect victory really a win if it's just the highest point before you hit the ground? That's the question we all have to ask ourselves after watching Hayley Hamilton finally get exactly what she wanted this week in Fairmont Crest. But let's be real for a second. In the world of Beyond the Gates, when a con artist like Hayley scores a major victory, it usually means the trap is finally set, but she might be the one walking into it. We are seeing a masterclass in manipulation right now. Hayley is successfully grasping for power and status within the Lawson family. But beneath the surface of this win, there is a silent witness who is finally starting to find her voice. I'm talking about Caroline Lee. The truth is coming, and it is going to be the ultimate equalizer. But before we get to the fallout, we have to look at the mess we are currently standing in. Think about the atmosphere in that mansion right now. The air in Fairmont Crest is thick with the scent of poison tea and some really desperate lies. Hayley has spent months dismantling Bill Hamilton's life. She's used psychological isolation and physical toxicity like they were weapons. We've watched her transform from a woman the community called a husband-stealing tramp into something much more dangerous, a literal black widow. And yet, she stays untouchable in Bill's mind. Why is that? Well, think about it. This isn't just about money. It's about how terrifyingly efficient a predator can be when they know how to weaponize someone's past trauma. Bill is a man who built an entire empire on his ability to read people. He knows who to trust and who to destroy. But right now, he is completely blind to the person sharing his bed. This isn't just a simple mistake on his part. It is a total collapse of his survival instincts. The funny thing is, Hayley needs this win right now because the walls are closing in fast. Her cousin Randy is getting rattled. The stepdaughters are forming their own amateur detective squad and they are finally starting to compare notes. Hayley isn't just moving toward a win, she is sprinting because she knows the clock is ticking on her cover story. Why does she act this way? Internally, she must be feeling a massive rush of adrenaline. She's a woman who admitted she never actually loved Bill. To her, this marriage is just a performance that she thinks she deserves a medal for. There is a deep hollowness in her victory, though. I see this moment as her last supper. She's getting the trip to St. Bart's and she's getting total control, but she's doing it in a room full of people who are finally opening their eyes. I have to say, her actions are absolutely repulsive. Using health scares to traumatize Bill's daughters is a new low, even for her. But you have to admit, framing Caroline as an evil kind of genius. This is textbook behavior for an abuser. You create the problem, in this case, the poisoning, and then you position yourself as the only solution. You become the concerned wife who is just trying to get him medical help. It creates this twisted trauma bond where Bill thinks he can only trust her. She is feeding his ego while she poisons the well of every other relationship he has. It's psychological manipulation 101. Now, while Hayley is celebrating, Caroline Lee is walking straight into a nightmare. Bill's decision to rely on Caroline during this crisis isn't a sign that he trusts her. It's actually the setup for a brutal revenge. Bill's paranoia is targeting the wrong person because Caroline is essentially too perfect. In his damaged mind, her total devotion looks suspicious. He's asking why she's always there and why she knows his routine so well. He doesn't realize she's there because she's the only one who actually gives a damn about him. Can you imagine the devastation she feels? She has been his shadow and his protector for years. To have the man you've devoted your life to look you in the eye and suspect you of attempted murder is a betrayal you don't just walk away from. I honestly think Bill is being a total fool, but it's a tragic kind of foolishness. He is alienating the one person who is actually doing the work to keep his life from falling apart. This is his defense mechanism misfiring. He's been burned by people he thought were family before. Think back to those 2017 and 2018 vibes when his own sons turned on him. His brain is hardwired to expect the knife to come from the person closest to him. Hayley knows this. She isn't just poisoning his body, she is poisoning his history. And then we have the Dani Dupree chaos factor. That slip of the tongue where she referred to Bill as her husband? That was the shockwave Fairmont Crest didn't see coming. This wasn't just a mistake. It was her subconscious refusing to let go. Dani is a woman who gave up her career for love, and that fire is clearly still burning. She is feeling a desperate, protective rage. Seeing Hayley at a spa while Bill is in the hospital was the final straw. She is acting on actual human concern, something Hayley doesn't even understand. I'd argue that Dani is the chaos agent here. She doesn't need a mountain of proof to start a fire, she just needs a single match. Her mistake forces the whole family to start asking questions they weren't ready for. I think Dani's slip is actually the best thing that could have happened. It breaks that polite silence everyone has been maintaining and forces them to look at the reality of the situation. It's what you call emotional leakage. She suppressed those feelings for so long that they just overflowed at the worst possible time. It shows that despite her tough exterior, she is still deeply tethered to him. But things are going to get much worse. Hayley is already planning that isolation tactic by taking him to St. Bart's. She wants him away from prying eyes so his death looks natural. The conflict now is a race against time. Caroline and Hayley are in a direct game of outmaneuvering each other. Every time Caroline helps Bill, she tightens the noose around Hayley, but she also puts herself deeper into the frame for the crime. The tension between those two women is electric. It's the shadow versus the siren. Caroline knows something is wrong, and Hayley knows that Caroline knows. It's a cold war inside that mansion. No one has fired a shot yet, but both sides are stockpiling evidence. I really think Hayley is overplaying her hand, though. She's becoming arrogant because things are going her way too easily. And arrogance is the one thing a con artist can't afford. Her ego is her biggest weakness. She wants that medal for her performance, but that desire for recognition is going to make her slip up in front of someone like Dani or Caroline. We also have to look at the mysterious Andre element. Why is he shying away from interviews and turning to Smitty for help? It's because his past is catching up to him, and it likely intersects with Hayley's roots. Andre is living in a state of quiet terror. He thought he buried a version of himself, but it's circling him like a storm. He is the missing link in all of this. If his secrets connect to Hayley's previous cons, he is the only one who can definitively unmask her as a serial predator. I suspect they have a history that would shatter the whole Dupree family. If they were part of the same con circuit, his silence isn't just about his own past, it's about his fear of what Hayley is capable of. So, here is the prediction. This victory Hayley scored is hollow. She will convince Bill to leave for St. Bart's, but that move is too aggressive. It's going to trigger Chelsea and Naomi to move from being suspicious to being active. I don't think Caroline is going to wait for Bill to figure it out on his own. She is going to find a piece of evidence, maybe that fake sonogram or a sample of the tea, and she's going to take it to Dani. This will create a super alliance between the ex-wife and the assistant. What are the consequences? Bill's health is going to reach a breaking point just as the truth comes out. He will realize he accused his most loyal ally of the crime his wife was actually committing. The psychological fallout of that is going to be more devastating than the poison itself. Bill is going to have to face the fact that he was unreadable. His ego will be crushed. And Caroline? She might never forgive him. That bridge hasn't just been burned, it's been nuked. Bill will likely spiral into a deep depression. He values being the man in control, and realizing he was just a pawn in a game is going to destroy his sense of self. When Hayley is finally backed into a corner, we are going to see her true self, the one who couldn't let it ride when she saw Bill and Dani kissing. The truth won't come out in a courtroom first, it'll come out in a lab. Caroline is going to get his blood tested for toxins that the regular doctors missed. Hayley controlled the narrative for the symptoms, but she can't control the chemistry. The moment of exposure is going to be cold. There won't be a big shouting match at first. It'll just be the look in Bill's eyes when he realizes what is in the tea she just handed him. He will finally see her for who she is, and in doing so, he'll see how much of a fool he's been. Honestly, I think Caroline should leave him after this. She gave him everything, and he gave her an accusation of murder. She deserves to be the hero of her own story. She is finally developing agency. She's moving out of the shadow and into the sunlight, and that shift is what will destroy Hayley's empire. Fairmont Crest will never be the same after this. The Hamilton family is fractured beyond repair. Chelsea and Naomi are going to have to pick up the pieces of a father who is physically and emotionally shattered. That $10 million life insurance policy Hayley wanted is now just a target on her back. The Duprees will use every resource they have to make sure she leaves with absolutely nothing. There's going to be a strange sense of mourning, not for the marriage, but for the time lost. Bill lost so much time playing house with a ghost. This is the price of arrogance. He paid for his ego with his health and his relationships. The show is at its best when it explores these deep scars. I really hope they don't rush the fallout. We need to see the wreckage. The whole community is going to experience this collective trauma. Seeing one of their own get infiltrated so easily will make everyone in that gated community look at their loyal friends with new suspicion. And as we look ahead, the Andre storyline is the second fuse. Just as the Hayley con ends, his past is going to explode. That's how these stories keep us hooked. They overlap the end of one nightmare with the start of another. Dani is going to be caught in the middle of it all. She might be getting Bill back, but her nephew is about to drag the family through the mud. And what about that theory that Caroline is actually Bill's secret daughter? If that's true, this betrayal is 10 times worse. It turns a corporate drama into a Greek tragedy. It would explain why she was so loyal. She was a daughter desperate to connect with a father who didn't know she existed, only to have him accuse her of trying to kill him. That is a trauma that no amount of money can fix. So, here is the final take. Hayley's win is a hollow one. She will isolate Bill, but she's also isolating herself. Caroline, armed with the truth and a new alliance, is going to be the one to pull the curtain back. The Black Widow is about to find out that she isn't the only one who knows how to spin a web. But I want to hear from you. Do you think Caroline should ever forgive Bill after this? Or has he crossed a line that can never be uncrossed? And that slip of the tongue from Dani, is that a sign they're getting back together, or is she just mourning the man he used to be? What do you think is in Andre's past that is so dangerous? If you want to stay ahead of every shocking win and every brutal revenge in Fairmont Crest, you need to be part of the community. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single update. Smash the like button if you're ready to see Hayley get what's coming to her, and drop your wildest theories in the comments. I read every single one of them. This is your home for the deep dives into Beyond the Gates. I'm out for now. Stay vigilant, Fairmont Crest family. Think about the sheer weight of what we're discussing here. We aren't just talking about a plot twist in a soap opera, we are talking about the systematic destruction of a man's legacy by the person he should be able to trust the most. When we look at Bill Hamilton, we see a man who has spent his entire career in the courtroom, dissecting the lies of others. He's a charismatic and calculated criminal defense attorney. His whole life has been about finding the truth or, at the very least, identifying a lie. So, the psychological toll of being tricked by Hayley is going to be astronomical. It's not just that she's poisoning him, it's that she has made him doubt his own fundamental identity as a man who can't be fooled. Every time Hayley hands him a cup of tea, she isn't just delivering a toxin, she is delivering a message. That message is that he is weak, that he is failing, and that only she can save him. This is the ultimate form of gaslighting. She is literally making him sick and then telling him his sickness is a reason to isolate himself from his daughters, Naomi and Chelsea. And Bill, in his weakened state, is falling for it. He's alienating his children, the people who actually share his blood and his history, in favor of a woman who is essentially a ghost with a fake name. But let's pivot to Caroline for a second. The role of the loyal assistant is a staple in these dramas, but Caroline Lee feels different. She is the shadow that keeps the empire running. When Bill turns to her in a crisis, he thinks he's just using a tool. He doesn't see the human being who is carrying the weight of his entire life on her shoulders. The betrayal he inflicts on her by suspecting her is, in many ways, more profound than the betrayal Hayley is inflicting on him. Hayley is a stranger, Caroline is a foundation. When you start attacking your own foundation, the whole building is going to come down. And what about the Dupree family? They are the black royalty of this gated community. Vernon and Anita have built a life of prestige and power. To see their world infiltrated by a con artist like Hayley is an affront to everything they've worked for. Dani is the one feeling the brunt of this because she's the one who recommended Bill hire Hayley in the first place. Imagine the guilt she's carrying. She basically opened the gates for the wolf to walk in and eat the sheep. Her slip of the tongue calling Bill her husband isn't just about lingering love, it's about a desperate desire to go back to a time before she made that mistake. She wants to reclaim her place, not just as his wife, but as the person who protects him. This brings us to the detective squad, Naomi, Chelsea, and Kat. These three women are the future of the family, and they are finally starting to act like it. They are moving away from the petty drama of Fairmont Crest and focusing on the real threat. When Kat puts herself in Hayley's crosshairs, she is taking a massive risk. We know Hayley is willing to kill to protect her $10 million payout. If she senses that Kat is getting too close, what is she going to do? She's already proven she can fake a miscarriage and a pregnancy with ice-cold precision. A natural-looking accident for a meddling step-relative wouldn't be out of the question for her. The stakes here couldn't be higher. We are watching a family fight for its soul against a predator who doesn't even have one. Hayley admits she doesn't love Bill. She doesn't even like him that much. He's just a paycheck. A very large, $10 million paycheck. The coldness of that is what makes her such a compelling villain. She isn't driven by passion or revenge, she's driven by a balance sheet. And a man like Bill, who has spent his life dealing with passionate criminals, has no defense against someone who is simply doing business. But the business is about to get messy. The introduction of Andre's past is the wild card we all need to watch. If he turns to Smitty, the investigative reporter, it means he's looking for professional help to uncover something he's too close to see. Does he know who Hayley really is? Did they run a con together in Philadelphia? If Andre is the one who eventually brings the house down, it would be a perfect bit of narrative symmetry. The man with the secret past destroying the woman with the secret present. The next few weeks in Fairmont Crest are going to be a bloodbath, metaphorically, and maybe literally. We've seen the spoilers for August 10th through the 14th, travel plans are getting derailed. Caroline is rushing to Bill's side. Dani is facing an interrogation from her own family. This is the pressure cooker finally starting to whistle. When Bill makes a request of Dani that enrages Hayley, we are seeing the first cracks in her control. She thought she had him isolated, but he is still reaching out to his ex-wife. That signifies that despite the poison, his heart still knows where safety actually lies. Hayley is going to snap. We've seen it in the teasers. When a con artist loses control, they stop being calculated and start being dangerous. She has already moved from theft to attempted murder. What's the next step when the murder fails? I think we're going to see a level of desperation from her that will shock even the most jaded soap fans. She is a cornered animal now, and Fairmont Crest is a very small place to hide. The community is going to have to decide whose side they're on. Will they stand with the royalty of the Duprees, or will they continue to let an outsider like Hayley tear them apart? The gated community of Fairmont Crest was supposed to be a sanctuary, a place where the elite could live without fear. But Hayley has shown them that the gates don't keep the monsters out, sometimes, they just trap the monsters inside with you. I want to hear what you think about this secret daughter theory for Caroline. It's a classic soap opera trope, but it would add such a layer of tragedy to this story. If she is Bill's daughter, his accusation isn't just professional malpractice, it's a biological betrayal. And what about Andre? What do you think he's hiding? Is he a victim of a previous con, or was he a participant? The connections in Fairmont Crest are deeper than they appear on the surface, and we are just starting to scratch that surface. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the upcoming breakdowns. We are following every twist and turn of this saga. Hit the like button if you're rooting for Caroline and Dani to finally bring Hayley down. And as always, leave your theories in the comments. I read every single one, and I love seeing how you all piece these clues together. This is our community, and our theories are part of what makes Beyond the Gates so engaging. The truth is coming for Fairmont Crest. The gates are open, and there is nowhere left to hide. Hayley Hamilton has played her hand, but she didn't realize that the house always wins, especially when the house is full of people like the Duprees and the Hamiltons who have everything to lose. Stay tuned, because the next few episodes are going to be absolutely historic. I'll see you in the next one where we'll continue to dissect the mystery and the drama of life beyond the gates. Take care, and keep watching.